Go.
Hi everybody, welcome to our post for March 31st. Rebecca's mic is not working. Some audio major she is. I'm kidding. So today we're going to be going over 8K workflows specifically with RED cameras with your production shoots in 8K. If your students are shooting in 8K, which is not preferable, I had to do this about 2 weeks to a week and a half ago, and figuring it out was a good learning opportunity and also just interesting all around. So I thought I'd share it with you guys. So we're going to start on why the project was shot on a RED. So basically, we have a RED weapon helium 8K camera in PPEX, and the lenses that the director wanted to use did not work, or didn't work properly on the lens. So when it didn't work properly, what I mean is, if you put on a lens on the camera and you keep it at 8K, which is full frame, it'll stay full frame, have full range of your lens. You can see all of your image. If you take that lens and then in the RED camera decide to make it a 4K resolution, instead of just down resing the actual the size of the image, what the RED cameras do is actually crop out the sensor. So it physically makes the sensor smaller, meaning you lose range in your lenses, and then your lenses look bad on screen. So that's why the director wanted to shoot 8K. She didn't want to shoot 8K, she didn't love the idea of shooting in 8K. She wants to output in 4K, but that was the only option to get this full range of the lenses that were available to us. So then we're going to backtrack. Why is it a problem to shoot in 8K? One, the file sizes are huge. For student films, it's not a good idea, just because you're going to have to spend a lot of money on storage and computing power that student filmmakers aren't really ready or necessarily have the budget to spend on, which is fine. It's not their fault. They should be shooting big to begin with. Yeah. The good thing about 8K, the other good thing about 8K, is that it's double the size of 4K resolution, which means if you're outputting in 4K, you have the ability to reframe your image up to half of the image. So I'll show you guys an example of this in my footage. So this is my drive.
Make sure everyone's looking at your computer.
Yeah, so if everyone looks at my screen, the screen recording, I have this file system here. I'm going to keep the chat here just so I can see it for now, but once we get into more programs, this will go away. So if I go to my footage, which will take a minute because my drive went to sleep. Cool. I don't know which day it was. So I'm going to get into this part later about the organization. I'm just going to figure out the car. Let's do this. We can go to just look at this. So when we're in 8K, this shot right here can now become I'll go further down. This can then become 2 shots. We can reframe this to be only this guy here and only names Kanea in real life. It can be Kanea or with some Arabs. And I can make this 2 different shots instead of 1 master shot, and then I can also cut back to the master shot. So having 8K is really nice in that sense, but it's not worth the amount of money you're going to spend on storage and computing power at the student level. So, what else did we talk about? So I couldn't convince them to shoot 4K. One thing I learned is that 90 minutes of footage in 8K at about, I think it's 4 to 1 or 2 to 1 compression ratio, which I'll talk about in a minute. 90 minutes of footage is 6 terabytes worth of data, which is quite a lot. And you're definitely going to have over 90 minutes of footage each day of shooting, so you're going to have a lot of storage. What you can do then is heighten the compression ratio. So instead of like 1 to 1, which is full frame, or 2 to 1 or 3 to 1, you can go all the way up to 12 to 1. So 12 to 1 is a high compression, which means you're losing a significant amount of data in your image. However, because it's an 8K screen, you already have a lot of space to work with. So what we did throughout shooting was we started at 11 to 1 just to understand how big the files were, and then we moved to 10 to 1 throughout after the first day. So we had more data, but also not too much that we couldn't fit on our storage. Okay. Next. So all of 7 days of shooting at 10 to 1, one day at 11 to 1 took up about 4 terabytes of footage. So that's pretty good. But again, that was a 15-page script, so that's still a lot. So in terms of space, if you're ever shooting on 8K, I would recommend at least a minimum of 2 10-terabyte drives. And that's because if you do it properly and you set your compression ratio properly, you shouldn't go over 10 terabytes. And you always want a second one just for backup. One thing I made sure of is that after set, they both have, while I was on set, I offloaded, so both drives have the exact same information on them. I made sure to store one of the drives somewhere else in a different location, like at someone's house that wasn't mine or mine, and one of them would be at mine, just in case, like, God forbid, like the roof leaked at one of the houses and like ruined a drive, or like a fire happened, and then we lost the footage. It sounds kind of extreme, but like situations like that have happened, so it's just a good way to minimize your risk. Cool. So what you're going to do is, if you're on set and you're the DIT, which stands for Digital Imaging Technician, I believe, basically you're responsible for data management and file organization, and this includes both footage and audio for the day. When I was on set, I brought my computer. I bought a rented version of ShotPut Pro, which is up here, and basically this is a program used for copying footage to multiple drives. It does this process where it copies to both, make sure they're both the same, and then triple checks each file with each other to make sure it's the same exact amount of information, which is really helpful just in case, like, maybe you drag and drop something instead and missed a file. This is really helpful. But this was also $45 for a month. So I had production pay for that. Alright, so when you're on set, what you're going to do is you're going to offload the footage. You're going to get it into your file structure. So what I have set up is these folders. This is my audio from each day of shooting, labeled as such. My footage, raw footage from each day of shooting as such. My exports, which I don't have any, and daily files from each day of full shooting. My proxy files, which have my 1920 by 1080 versions of each shot. So basically what's going to happen is when you get red footage, you get it in like these subfolders. Let me find a good example. Here we go. So you get this folder structure that ends in RDM. Now this can't be opened in most movie player apps, which is great because Red, of course, has a proprietary program that they want you to use to look at their footage. It's also a good way to look at like your camera number. So clearly, I think this was a test shot because it's A008, and this one is also A008. But what you can do is double click these and you have all these. So these are your individual shop with RDC at the end. When you double click these folders, you go into these stuff. What this means, it's not two separate shots, it's just the camera has to somehow figure out where the file is going to go if it's pretty long. So it'll chop it up into bits. And it's not like linear bits where like this is the first minute and this is the second minute. It's like this is information from some of the frames and this is information from the other frames, put them together and then it's your full image for the whole time. But the helpful thing about Resolve and Red is that these individual folders are able to be played. So if you go to the Red website, you can download Red Cine X Pro, which is their program, and Red Player, 64 or 32-bit, depending on the type of computer. So you get this little black box. You can't really do anything with it yet. What I have been doing is just dragging and dropping, but you can go in here and file open. This is just easier for me. So if I go into here and grab this shot. So now I see this whole thing. Right now it's displaying to me in 1/8 size. If you guys want to see something crazy, I'll show you 1/16. So 1/8. This is about 1920 by 1080. Okay. This is going to be 2K.
Enhance.
This is going to be 4K.
Enhance.
And one more time, and this is 8K.
No.
Yeah. So it's really big. It's a really, really big file. And it has a lot of information. So if I go back, I'll show you guys one more time. And then 1/16 is 720, I believe. Or 480, something like that. So if I go to 480 again, you see Thomas's fingers are very pixelated. And when I go into full, we're going to see like the pores in his skin. Perfect. Thanks, Thomas. Okay, so this is a quick way you can look at your shots. One other thing about the Red player is you can look at like your log versus IPP2, and I think I don't understand color like incredibly well, but what I can understand is like this is the raw footage and this is the log footage, so uncolored, and I believe IPP2 is red, like trying to predict what it will look like afterwards, is what I think. Don't quote me on that. So you can change that here. You can see like if you see something that's like overexposed, like maybe the side of Tom's face is too hot, you can clearly see that in your log. Oh, it's not like that, and you can change that information after in color. Any questions? No? Okay, cool. So then what we're going to move into is workflow. So this is Resolve. For those of you who've heard me talk about Resolve before, I love it. I think it's the best program right now because it's free. Basically what I did is I went into my drive, which is right here. I imported the footage. So what the footage looks like, you know how it had all those folders before? It doesn't look like that through Resolve. So we're going to go to, I believe we are on see, it has these RDM packages, kind of folders. And double clicking that and waiting for this 8K file. Watch it crash, that is so funny. Alright, so if you notice, it doesn't show folders anymore, it shows the shots. But if we go back into our file system here, we look at Night, we look at this, you notice these are folders, and there's these beyond that. So those folders are syncing here. Resolve does a really good job of picking up that this is a red file and collapsing these two into one. So here we are with my 8K file. Why am I not seeing it in 8K here? Well, it's really easy to change your dimensions of your video in your project and timelines. It's so much simpler than Premiere. So what you can do, basically, what I've done is these are not proxy files. These are not proxy files. These are raw footage. I've then imported them into here and organized them in my project like so. But these are the raw files. But you notice, so it says up here it's 8,192 pixels by 4,321. So traditionally, if I try to play this back, it would break my computer. Right now, because I'm running a lot of programs at the same time, it might get a little steppy, but it looks good for now. But that's not an 8K file. And part of that is my settings in here. So video monitoring, I was using HD 1080p 23976, which is the same frame rate as my project. I can change the way I monitor it if I want to. You can go all the way up to this stuff. I'm not going to because it will blow up my computer. And then the other thing you can do is when you start importing into your timelines in Resolve, so let's go to my timelines. I'm going to just use my galleries as an example because this is the easiest way I can do it out. So we're going to go into the you notice I'm missing a bunch of audio. Didn't tell you why. No, I can't tell you why. I used a different drive when I did all of the organization. So I just have to rearrange it. But for the purpose of video only, we'll do this. So this timeline is able to be played back at a pretty decent rate. You can see it's at a solid frame rate. That's what we want. Looks good, not choppy. If I had it at 8K, it would not be like that. Now the way I can change it is if I decide to, I can go in here, I can change this to, I'm going to do 4K because 8K actually does blow up my computer and it just stops working after a certain point, so like I don't want to show you guys. The math is this. I hit save on my timeline format. All of this is now the scaled down version, but 4K. So this is what I would be, if this was the edit of the film. This is what I'd be exporting from. Notice it's quite a bit slower. Now it's because it's double this, or no, 4 times the size, no, double the size of what I was just using. So I'm going to go switch back, and that's how easy it is really to switch between 1920 and 4K and 8K in Resolve, and so that completely removes any like proxies that you need to make if you do your entire edit in Resolve, which is so nice. It saves a lot. So that's if you're editing in Resolve. If you were editing in Resolve, you do your edit, pretend this is an edit. Get your colorist ready, give them this project file which you can export. They would go into color, they'd do the color on the entire film, and then they would just render it out here and be done. And that's your film, and you're good. That's why the Resolve workflow is a lot quicker and easier than the Premiere workflow. Does anyone have any? Yeah.
What's the export resolution limited to on the free version?
So this is the free version. But the free version, I believe, is restricted to UHD, which is not technically 4K. It's like,
It's TV's version of 4K.
Yeah.
I believe it's 3840 by 2160.
That's decent for free.
Yeah, oh yeah, and for free it's fantastic. Like if you're doing live work in 1920 or even 2K, like it's great. That's why Resolve is fantastic. And also, I'm gonna keep plugging Resolve. It's $300 one time. don't have to pay for anything else. You get all the updates in the future for free. You get Fusion standalone if you request it for free. I have made the switch, but I have not stopped paying for Adobe yet because my thing doesn't expire until October. I don't want to pay attention to
Yeah, but do you get Dreamweaver?
But
Do you get Dreamweaver? And
I
Spark?
can get Dreamweaver if I want.
Adobe Prelude?
I do have Prelude.
Anyone use Prelude?
Bad. That's this. That is equivalent to this. This is. I'm also gonna plug how bad this is. This is for like social media influencers to cut their like Instagram videos. This tab, literally called Cut, is bad. Don't use it. Use Edit. Cool.
So doesn't Cut also for making like selects or?
I mean, you can. Like, I don't know. I find this clunkier and more like, it's like too big of a space. I don't get all the tools I really want. And then if I go in here, it's just like I have, I can get rid of this and do whatever I want. I like it a lot.
The cut page is only one video track, right?
Yeah, it's one, and then you can like add more, but see how it's like kind of not intuitive to add. I guess I just almost did it.
Yeah, I thought it was just for cutting down individual clips.
Yeah, you can do that too. I don't know. I should learn more about it. I just hate it. So. Cool. So that's resolved in terms of 8K workflow. So what you would do is just make sure you import the 8K clips in the beginning, but set your timeline to 1920 and your video monitoring format to 1080 so you can see it at a lower resolution. And then when you're done editing, switch this back to 8K. If you were exporting 8K, you won't be, so then 4K, whatever the math works out for you. You could be at full aperture, I don't know why, but you could be there.
Have you tested actual like just HD files compared to something that's down-res in the settings? Is there a speed difference?
I haven't tested that yet, but so far, like, I had absolutely no trouble with making these dailies as fast as I did with this 1920 stuff on. So, if there is a speed difference, it's probably almost negligible.
Nice.
Then you save so much time not making proxies.
Yeah, for sure.
Any more questions? I'm not done yet. But... No? Okay. So, this would be a very easy way to do it. If you were unfortunate enough to have to edit in Premiere, I'm sorry, first off. Second, it makes your life a lot more complicated. So, if for example, you use this to do your dailies, all this work you did, all this syncing and organizing is now out the window, so you got to do it again. I don't have the Premiere file because that's on the shuttle drive with Laura and Rebecca, editor and director. But what you would then, I can walk you through what you would then have to do. You would have to go into Media Encoder, which I'll open up. This is part of the Adobe plan, so like if you don't have the Adobe plan, there's a tool in here, I believe it's called the Clone tool. Yeah, and this acts as a similar thing. I just don't know it very well yet because I haven't tried it, but I've heard that it does the same thing as Media Encoder. I just know Media Encoder a little better, so I've been using it while I still am forced to pay for Adobe. So then what you have to do here is go into all your footage and say, I want the second day of shooting. I think that this clip should be, well, you'd have to do them all, but you would essentially drag them over here. you have to select what format. It's the exact same as the Premiere export. So you have to go in here and select what size and format and all that good stuff. For this particular one, I use DNX standard quality 1080p at 23976, and I use that because it's a small enough file size that the editor can edit with it and not have to like squint at the TV to see pixels, but also their computer not explode. And then the next thing you would have to do is go into your output file, make sure that this name that you're going to name it is the exact same name as your original file, because then when your editor has to relink footage at the end, they won't have a hard time finding your file. What you'd have to do is go in here, save it to a different location. So as you can see, I've already done this one because I've done this whole thing already, but I'd be placing it into the March 14th folder within 1920s and proxy, which is a different location than the original footage, and that won't confuse your computer. So I'm just going to cancel this because I've already done it. I don't want to mess anything up. But you would basically, at the same time, you can drag all of these in, and then you can change the destination for all of them at the same time, and then just hit play, and it'll go for like an hour and a half. You don't have to be at your computer, you don't have to be looking at it, you can do other things with other apps, and it'll do its thing. That's why I like Media in Color. I don't know how the clone tool works in Resolve, and I was scared that it would only be on the clone tool, and I wouldn't be able to work in Resolve. That's why I'm in Color. I'll get back to you guys on that. I haven't tried it yet. So then what you have to do in Premiere is you give your editor all your 1920 files. They do their thing, they make the edit, they use the audio, they do great. Then what they have to do is relink. So they have to do one of two things. One, they set their timeline settings to 4K in Premiere, and they relink the 8K files, which would force it to be 4K in your timeline of Premiere. Sometimes that can get finicky depending on how you set up your timeline in the beginning of your edit. So it's a little weird. The alternative to that would be to make like fake proxies at 4K, which I would take up a ton of space too. Then they would relink, they would make sure everything's alright, and then they would have to render out an XML for color in Resolve, because unless you're doing color in Premiere, which you shouldn't, your colorist is going to use Resolve because it's industry standard. And they need an XML file to be able to look at your footage and manipulate it. They are going to receive an XML. They're going to have a ton of problems with your XML because the XML didn't work or something didn't transfer. You're going to hate yourself and Premiere afterwards, but that's what you have to do. Hopefully your colorist is fantastic. Shout out Abby Hoffman, who is here. And works through the issues, and then renders out the final product all colored from Resolve. They would hopefully send the sound mix in before the colorist renders out, and then you would lay that in Resolve and your colored footage and export from there. So that's the Premiere way of doing it. It's long has problems along the way, especially with XMLs. So that's why I would prefer to do it in Resolve. But it is possible. Any questions?
No, just a comment. If you need an open source encoder, Handbrake is always a good option for that. So you need to make proxies, queue up proxies, and open source software.
Is it free?
Yeah, it's free.
Okay.
I've been using something called FFmpeg yesterday. For some reason, my media encoder will not do MP4s.
Ew.
I'm not sure if that is also like a similar thing, but it's pretty interesting.
FFmpeg is a codec pack. Do they have like a standalone app from the same company that develops the codec or something?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because I know I download that codec pack for use with Handbrake and Media Coder all the time.
Yeah, well, I'm just working. Apparently, it does other things, but I've just used it through Terminal.
Oh, cool.
They feel like a hacker. Yeah.
What he's talking about is if I use this. He said, I want to. Oh, wait, no, it's not this.
It's not the same.
I forgot what the Windows one is.
It's just CMD or command line.
Oh, yeah.
Command line. Command DOS.
I want to delete everything.
Do it.
I won't do that. Cool. Any more questions or comments about this? I know I went pretty fast, so like if you feel lost, don't worry about it. It's definitely my fault.
I screen recorded it, and hopefully it doesn't sound like trash.
Sorry.
Well, no.
That's what happens when you don't have a headset or a microphone.
No, your mic sounds great.
That's my phone, so that's good. It better be good.
Should I stop?
Sure, if no one has anything else to ask or say, go ahead.
Good job, man.
Yay.
My first virtual screen record meeting.